Hello all. So we have 11 people right now. Welcome to the DevOps Foundation Focus on Culture and Industry Perspectives webinar. I would like to wait for 4 or 5 minutes more to get us some more people in, and then I think we'll be able to go ahead. Is my sound clear? Can someone just type in a chat box if my sound is clear? Okay, then couple of more minutes and we'll start. So the count is increasing, and that's why I'm just giving some more time to the people. And even though we have planned this webinar for 2 hours, positively I should be able to wrap it around within a 90 minutes. We'll have some break around after 40 minutes or so. So like 4:10, yeah, 4 past 10, we'll have a small break of 5-10 minutes. I would like to answer some of the questions in that time, individual questions if any. So I think we are good to go. So before I start, there's a small request from my side. Request you to go to the sli.do, that is Slido. Okay, you don't need to log in or anything. You just need to put the event ID as 324358. This is for mainly for the asking some questions. In case it's optional. I mean, if you want to put your name, that's fine. Even if you don't want to put your name, that's fine. So the objective is that almost like we in a corporate culture, we say that almost 70% of the people don't prefer to ask questions in public. That is a bad thing about Indians, but that's the case. So I just want to make sure that any doubt coming in your mind, any questions coming in your mind, okay, you can ask there. You can hide your name, no issues. I'll be more happy if I see your name. Avoid asking questions in YouTube comments or chat section because it's just I'll be looking into this Slido maybe in a 10 or 15 minutes of interval or accordingly. Okay, so that will be easier for us to handle, and then I'll be asking some of the polls or some of the questions over there. Okay, not to, something to make you scared or something make you what you call uncomfortable. I'll just and as I said, the best part on the YouTube is that you don't have to show your name, you don't have to show your face, except me. And now I think I am also hiding my face. Okay, so now I am also hiding my face. So that is the part. So I assume that the people would have gone for the Slido, and you can start asking the question. But let me start on it first. Okay, my question is, what is DevOps? We'll go to Slido. I know this is the one way of communication. It's interaction is a little bit difficult. So what I'll do, I'll go to Slido. Okay, I have just put one question over there, and then I would like to know from you guys. I mean, it's just in the initial phase that what you think about the DevOps. I mean, how much, because it's kind of I don't know. You guys being most of you guys being from Mumbai University, I have done my chemical engineering, and that too from a Jalgaon University. So I don't know, and it's been a I'm a kind of old man now, so not sure how much is your understanding, but that will help me a little bit. Go ahead with that. Okay, so I'll just go live. Not bad. Should not take this much time, but it is taking. My bad. Sorry for that. Okay, actually, my YouTube was on my mobile phone as well, so I think that was eating some of the bandwidth. And the best part is that my machine is not giving me support. It seems somehow it is unhappy. Okay, it is back. Fine. So this is the question. I'll just go live. My question was, let's go live. So if you are on a Slido, I would like to see that what to think about a DevOps. You can start voting. Any option is there is no correct or no wrong, but I just want to understand that what you think about it. What is DevOps for you? There's a slight problem. One more problem I would like to highlight you guys. The YouTube streaming will have some delay. Okay, so that could create some of the issues. So till now, I'm not able to see that if someone had updated. Let me see the chat. So guys, you're able to see, and I just want to see that. I see that almost no one replied yet. I'm not sure, but seems is there any issues going to the slider? Is there any issues? Can you just someone ping me here? Okay, so someone started answering. We have only three. Okay, fine. We have only three people who answered till now, and no worries. Let's stop the poll and come back to the basics. The thing which is more important. Let's stop the poll. Okay, there's a nice question coming up at the start itself. Will there be any break in the webinar? Yeah, there will be a break for 10 minutes for sure. If you're not enjoying, I'll suggest not to join. I just don't want to take your time unnecessarily. Fine. So DevOps is a big term. Okay, today we are going to try to cover some of the part. DevOps is like you may say the cloud, or rather much bigger than the cloud as of today. We will try to cover the foundation. The entire seminar is uh, the, the seminar is planned in such a way that I have got the details from Amar sir. I could find that most of the people are from a student, and most of the people who have showed the interest are the student. And my objective to modify this content from the content, thinking that they should have the industry knowledge. And if any questions pop up, in case they try to put into their resume, and any questions pop up on a DevOps, they should be able to answer at least. They should be able to speak on it. So that was the objective of this seminar, or sorry, webinar. And so part of that we will cover some of the SDLC concept, that how the DevOps born, I should say, how the DevOps came into the picture. What is the DevOps? We'll see that once we'll see that how the DevOps came into the picture. We'll see that what is the DevOps. Okay, why DevOps and why you should know about it. When I said you should know about it, my objective is that at least those guys forget about it. Not a freshers only. Anyone right now in an industry, in an IT software industry, who don't know about a DevOps should know about a DevOps, because this is the one of the most important term. Trust me, it is a much bigger, important right now for the corporates than cloud as well. You know how the cloud is taking to the space, but the DevOps is much more important than clouds as well. So we will discuss about that. Then we'll go through some of the DevOps principle, and some of the people were a little bit anxious to know that what is some of the technical aspect. So we'll cover some of the technical aspect, but we won't have any demo. Sorry for that, guys. We won't have any demo. Okay, but we will try to cover all the technical terms or major technical terms which are frequently used in a DevOps culture. And then at the last, again, I will spare some time for the Q&A session, provided I get a question on the Slido. And just moving on to the next one. It's about me. This is my LinkedIn profile. I know most of you guys have got the invite saying Agile Lead at HSBC. But last week only, last week only I shifted my job, and right now I'm working with a Wells Fargo as a project manager. It's been a 16 years in the industry. I started with the Infosys and then various companies. This is my LinkedIn profile. You can check it. I would like to highlight some of the achievements, mainly on the Agile and DevOps side. I had implemented the Agile and DevOps for almost like 4 banks. And when we say the implemented, we do the complete enterprise implementation or complete organization implementation, where we will try to change almost everything which is existing. Okay, except people. People will be as it is, but there are the various factors we change, and that I have done now for the 4 banks till now. I did my chemical engineering, so in case someone is saying that they are not too good at CS or IT and still they will be able to excel in the IT, I am a very good example. Okay, so that's the case. Moving on to this, as I said, this is my LinkedIn profile. You can check in, and in case you are there, you can just add me as well. I'll be happy to guide you or speak about it. Now, what we do in industry? In industry, we build an app. Okay, when I say app is anything, any application, any software, any program. I mean, normally it's the software or the application. Okay, we build an app. Okay, and then we hand it over to the other team. When we say the build an app, majorly it is a part of the development team. So these are the development guys who will do the coding, who will do the testing, and who will do the design, build, planning, and all this stuff. And once the package is ready, user has tested it and is satisfied, we'll hand it over to the support team, what we call, or we can call as a operations team. Okay, these are the guys who are responsible to maintain the application or software over the period of time once development team has handed over to them. So that's how the industry works, and it doesn't matter which kind of application we are talking about. We are banking, let it be the automobile, let it be the what you call the pharma related software, or even the startups. Most of startup anywhere where they are the good strength, about the 50 or 60 people and above. Okay, they'll have this common methodology. They used to have. Okay, we will go to that part. But till now, you can say like almost like a 45 to 50% of the companies are still having this model where the one team builds the application and hand it over to the support team. Okay, as I spent most of my part in the banking industry, we call it as a development is called as a CTB, that is change the bank, and RTB is the run the bank. So we'll change the bank, we'll make the modification in software, and we'll give it to the for the change the bank purpose. Sorry, once the change the bank is done, we'll give it to the run the bank purpose. Fine. Moving on to the next one, the scenario 15 years back when I joined the industry. It was way back in 2005 when I started with the Infosys. What we used to do, we used to build an application and we used to follow the waterfall. In the waterfall, what we used to do, we used to plan, design, build, test, release, and then we'll hand it over to the for maintenance. That is the operations team. So that used to be the standard protocol when you used to work on it. Just to give a little bit, I'm not sure, but I'm assuming that the you people can someone ping me on this one on a chat whether you guys are okay with the waterfall model or you just need a little bit more on it. I'll just wait maybe for a few seconds. Okay, that's fine. So let's dive a little bit deeper into the waterfall model. So there used to be the phases, the waterfall, as we said, it used to be the defined phases with the toll gates kind of, or phase gates used to be there, where the one phase is completed and then only it used to go to the second phase. And when we say the second phase, after the planning used to run it like for the 6 months or 8 months or even more than that. So it used to be take a huge time. The business analysts used to go to the discuss with the customer. The customer are still giving the requirements in a detail. Okay, and then they'll document everything. They'll go back to get the what you call business stakeholders sign off, and then it will come. And then after that, the senior developers or senior tech lead or module leads or project lead will take up those items or those those requirements, and then start designing it. And that design phase used to run it for 3 months or 6 months, and it used to be the huge. Post the designing, okay, those design used to again go for the approvals, and it used to take a huge time. And then after designing, the developers used to come into the picture. The developer used to start coding by looking at the designing without thinking that what is happening around the product at all. Okay, that I have done at least. Okay, that I have done, and even now I can say that many of the companies are still doing it. Many of the developers are still doing it who don't know overall about the product. Just to specify, I have okay. I'll go to that example, and then once the entire modules are developed, that is to go for the delivery for the testing team, and then testing team used to test it, say again for a couple of months or more than that, and then they used to raise the issues. Then it used to come to the developer, and then developer used to fix the issues. Then again, they used to the huge cycle. Once the tester in the organizations had tested the application, it used to go for the user acceptance testing. When we say the user acceptance testing, it is for the UAT. I mean the business users who will be using the application or who will be sponsoring the. They used to be the part of the team who used to sponsor the projects or that program altogether. And then once that they are signed off the requirement, it used to go to the release. And in the release also we used to build the packages. Okay, that used to take the, it needs to raise the different kind of service requests with the various teams, and then we used to deploy it in the production. We used to provide the some of the what you call post deployment support. That post warranty support or post deployment support, these are the terminologies. And it is to be once that is done, developer used to move out of the project, and then support team, the operations team used to take that project, and these used to be the long cycle. To give an example, I have worked for the software called Finacle. It's a core banking software from Infosys, and in case you don't know, ICICI Bank, State Bank of India International, Bank of Baroda, DBS, Development Bank of Singapore, these banks use the Finacle as their core banking software, where they record all the entries and all, the branch related entries. So I have built that one module there, the DD operations, the DD loss, demand draft related module. I still remember that I built that application somewhere in a 2007, end of 2007 or somewhere like that. And then I left the organization in 2008, July 2008, and I got a call for one of the issues somewhere in a 2009. Okay, when I left the organization after a year, I got a call on to ask for that issue. So that was the beauty of Waterfall, and it used to take the huge months. And then, as you know, I have seen the little bit of okay. So this is so, and then again there are some of the tests. It used to happen. I'll just zoom it a little bit. The type of testing currently in the industry which happens. Normally people knows there is only one testing. Okay, there is a unit testing which the developer does. Then there is a functional testing. Okay, where will have the specialized guys who know about the functionality of the product or a module which we are building. Those guys will do these are the pure tester. Okay, and then we'll have the non-functional tester. They'll check the performance. They'll check the how the whether the what you call regression kind of stuff is happening and all the stuff. And then it used to go. It goes to the user acceptance testing. The user will test it. After that, also if that is not sufficient, then there is some concept called the OAT. That is the operational acceptance test. That the support team or operations team check whether the particular project or particular module which is coming into the picture, okay, is good enough to put it into the production. They'll have, even after doing all this testing, they won't trust. They won't trust the developer guys, and they'll say, yeah, we want to check whether your code is really suitable for the applications, because we don't need a headache after that. And then it will go live. So this is the current practice which is still happening in the industry. When I say the industry, majorly in a bank. So I'm still, there are so many projects where I'm dealing with this kind of scenarios. As I'll quickly brief about the challenges in the waterfall. whenever any developer does the development, uh, he normally don't know that how much time it will take for the deployment, because the development phase itself is like a 6 to 8 months or maybe more than a year sometimes, okay, based on the size of the application. But it could be at as less as 15 days or 20 days. But even after that, they don't know that when they'll be able to do the deployment, because in any organization, say minimal size or medium size organization, I'm not talking about the big ones like Accenture, Cogni, or any or Microsoft or Google. I'm not talking about them. Those are the like there will be running thousands of the project at a time. Thousands of the projects they'll be running at a time. Here in the banks also, whatever the banks have worked, okay, even in one small department, there will be like so many departments, say 30, 40 departments. Every department will have the hundreds of the project running at a time, and everyone wants to push it to the one system. That is a bank's production system. So there will be huge waiting time. Okay, there will be so many dependencies. You are working on one code. Okay, by the time you go to the production, you finish your UAT, you go to the production, you will find that the code you have worked on, okay, has been modified already. You have to take back that code, you have to modify again, you have to go through all the phases and try to put it before someone else works on that particular code file or code. Okay, so you have to put it like that, and that's a seriously big headache for the developers. And then second is the pressure of a workload. I mean, and workload pending a new code. So pressure is like 6 months, boss. 6 months you have finished your coding. Okay, you have worked on one project. Now your deployment will take a 3 months. Your testing will take a 2 3 months, and then again your deployment will take 3 months. Your manager won't allow you to sit idle. Okay, you have to take up the new work. Okay, but at the same time you will get the issues from your previous projects. Okay, where you are deployed it, you have to work on those issues as well. So that is the pressure of the work. There's no consistencies there. Okay, when we are working on one, I have been a kind of a full stack developer. So when I'm working fully into my web development, UI designing and all this stuff, all of a sudden I used to get the issue on the back end. Okay, where I need to shift to the DB, a database, and start working on it. And that's a very difficult switch. So these were the problem. When it goes to the operation side, in the operation side, thousands of the projects are running, and for every project when we are trying, most of the project when we are trying to deploy, we have to bring down the system. You have to bring down the system. It means you have to bring down the website, I should say, in a plain simple word. Or you might have seen in the internet banking, you get a notification saying that our system will be down for so and so time. That is because there are some of the code changes are happening in the production. Okay, they are deploying some of the code changes. So that goes like that. And then operations has to maintain that. They'll get the bashing from the users that why system is down multiple times, and all kind of stuff. And then there used to be the concept, there is the concept of the servers. When you are running a bank, or when you are running an application like a Facebook, or even the particular Google Drive or photos, or any app you think of it. Right now we are talking on YouTube. Do you think is it possible to work on one server? I mean, what kind of the size it might be? Okay, not possible at all. There will be hundreds of the servers. Okay, so many servers. Okay, every server will have the BCP, that is backup plan. Then they'll work on the different kind of servers. So the operations team had that kind of the issue also. And when any issue comes in the application, they'll try to find out the developer. Developer is either out of the project, most of the time out of the project, or some developer like me are out of the organization itself. So that used to be the major challenges in a waterfall, or rather still there are existing. I should not say used to be. Now then came the concept of agile. Okay, where we'll have the sprints. Okay, the sprinting or agile is the quite new, I should say. It's not too new. It started the first time the Scrum, Agile Manifesto was published in 2004, and then it started growing or building upon it somewhere in the 2007 and 8. I started working in Agile in 2012, so that's quite old. But still, there are the teams who are trying to work on it. And the most popular framework in Agile, what we do in Agile, we do everything all together. as again I am saying that you guys from Mumbai University, you have a syllabus, but still I'll just connect. So here what we do, we break the requirements into the smaller chunks. Okay, even the deliveries will break into the smaller chunks. So we'll plan, design, build, test, and release into the one sprint itself. That is the expected. That every sprint will be between the 2 to 4 weeks. We'll have the different ceremony. We'll see the little bit more about the Scrum framework. But in short, we'll try to fit till the time of release into the small what you call small cycle, 2 to 4 weeks. Small models we'll try to build it. For that, we'll have a separate discussion. So that was the agile. But agile again is up to the point where it doesn't talk about release and maintenance. It talks about only development and not about the maintenance. So this was the first agile. They proposed that it should go to the it should make the MVP live. That is the most viable product. It should make the MVP live. So I don't want to go into the details of the more terms and all, but till now whatever the live is going on, it is going till the UAT. It is not going into the production. That is the current practice. So this is the current practice. Whatever you are doing, okay, the expected stuff is that your release should happen every sprint, but in actuals, your developers will do the build, okay, they'll design the plan, and then do the build, and they'll do the testing, and they'll keep piling up, okay, they'll keep piling up the sources or their deliverables, and in one of the sprint, they'll say, okay, fine, now we have a window, because there is again dependency on operations side when they'll allow to put our source code or our changes into the production. So at that time they'll find, okay boss, now we got an opportunity to deploy our sources. So whatever the code has been developed in the 4th sprint or 6th sprint or 10th sprint, okay, they'll try to put it into the production, and that release will happen at once. So here also the kind of a scenario, if in case it is every sprint, if you consider as minimal as 2 weeks, okay, if you talk about 10 sprints, 5 months back the developer has developed his code, okay, now, and he has to go and make a changes. In case he faces any issue comes in the production, now he has to come back and make some changes. So that was the mainly on agile, the current agile which is going on. Okay, it is not bad, but because it builds the base for the DevOps. Now, why we are discussing all this stuff? It builds the base for the DevOps, and that's why I just thought of putting a slide and just going through slightly about the Agile Manifesto. Okay, the Agile Manifesto, which was done for first time published in 2004, and right now the Agile Software Development Lifecycle, or SDLC, what you call, has been implemented majorly in most of the banks. Not only banks, but almost all the industries. Rather, when we talk about Google, Facebook, they are the DevOps guys. Okay, they do the build and releases like 40 releases, 100 releases per day. We will see that how the tooling and everything helps them. So that's it. So what Agile Manifesto says? It says the individual and interactions over processes and tools, working software over comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration over contract negotiations, and responding to change over following a plan. So that's it says. But it also says that though while there is a value in the items on the right, okay, that is in the pink color, we as a agile our agile members value the items on the left more, that is in a blue color. That is more important. We are not much bothered about the documentation part of it, but we need a working software. But doesn't mean that in the agile there is no documentation. That is a wrong conception about the agile. I'll just slightly move now. We will just overview looking at the time. I won't go in much deep into the Scrum. Okay, Scrum, as you might be aware, the Scrum is the most popular framework for agile methodology, and this is being used for almost like 90-95% of the IT companies, especially when you talk about the startups. 100% they are using the Scrum. There won't be any exceptions. Okay, they might be using the DevOps, but Scrum, yeah, 100% they are using. You talk about the service industry company. When I say service industry, it is like those guys who recruit the people and then they train them and then they deploy it at the client location. Okay, so when I said the service industry, the companies like the Capgemini, Infosys, Accenture, Cognizant, okay, Wipro, HP, HCL, these are the big client service company. I mean, the service IT service companies. So where they recruit the people and they train them and then they'll deploy it to the client. When I say the client could be any. Majorly this is the banks, something like where I worked, HSBC. We have like 250 or something odd Infosys people working with us, and then we had there are many banks. I mean that's how the entire IT industry work. That we'll discuss some other day. So, that's why the Scrum you should know. In the Scrum, what we do, the product owner defines the requirements. Okay, he decides the priority of it. He don't define. He discuss with the many of the stakeholder, customers and users, and then it comes to the product backlog where all the requirements has been placed. From that, it goes to the sprint planning where the team decides that okay, these are the items we can build it and deliver in the next 2 weeks or whatever the sprint duration. Normally, it is between the 1 week to 4 week, but the standard duration mostly followed in the IT industry is like a 2 weeks, unless until you are completely DevOps. Standard is the 2 weeks. So they'll decide it and then they'll start working on it. They'll do the development. There will be someone called a Scrum Master who will be the servant leader, okay, who will be helping the team to solve their issues and so that the team is completely focused on their what you call sprint goals, okay. And they'll on a daily basis they'll meet in the daily Scrum meeting where they'll discuss what they have done yesterday, what they are planning to do it today, and what are the impediments or problems they are facing to finish their or to achieve their sprint goal. And then there will be a sprint review where the team will showcase whatever the items has been built to the product owner as well as the stakeholder. Okay, but this is our working product or MVP, what we call most viable product. So working part of the product they'll show, then the product owner will take a call whether he should accept it or reject it. If he reject it, it goes back to the backlog, okay, and then again it starts. Okay, and if it accepts it, well, fine, then it moves to the release part. And then the team will meet for once in a sprint. They'll meet for a sprint retrospective where they'll discuss about what went good and what went bad in that particular sprint. So that's how they'll go ahead with that. Now there's a small suggestion, as I said, that you guys, I mean, it is a pretty good practice. The Scrum is a very well known, and it will surely add a value to your what I call your resume, even for your campus interviews in case you're planning, or off campus as well, or anywhere you are planning outside, because the companies are just looking for these guys. There is a website called scrumstudy.com. It's the international one, okay, and they provide the foundation, the fundamental Scrum fundamental certificate as a free of cost. You can give an exam, which is a 40 questions in the exam, okay. You'll get a 60 minutes of duration. There won't be anyone watching at you when you are giving the exam. So you can give the exam from your home and you can get it certified. So this is the sample certification which I received a long time back. I'll just show it to you. And trust me, this is the kind of a known certification. Okay, so you can proudly show on your resume. So at least the person who is looking at your resume, he'll know that you are a little bit serious about, apart from your college or technical stuff, you are serious about the way of working, what we call the way of working for the organization. So that's the certification I could say. If you guys are interested, you can just drop a note. I'll share this particular link, or the Scrum Study. If you search as Scrum Study, you will be able to find the same on a Google. So that is not a major concern on that part. And moving on to the next part, I would like to say, so right now we are talking about a waterfall, we are talking about agile, but what is DevOps for which we met today? Agile mainly speaks about the development, but not much about the maintenance. As we said, the Agile always talks about the development. Okay, they don't bother how will they say in Agile it is said that you have to fix all the issues um, when you are releasing the code for the production, but that is not practically feasible. Okay, so there has to be because we don't know how much testing we can do. If there are the applications like, so you are opening an account. Okay, for a bank, you're opening an account, and there are you don't know how many currencies are there. Every currency will have the different types of format. Okay, different types of format, that how it will be tested. I'm just giving one example. Okay, then there is something called a name, the simple customer name. There are the people who are having the apostrophe in their names. Okay, there will be the people who have more than 30 characters in their name. So there are the various challenges. So it is not feasible to deploy the zero defect code most of the time, and Agile doesn't address that issue. Then Agile doesn't speak anything about automation. It is mainly a way of working, that what is the people's mindset, how the people should think, and what is the result they are trying to achieve. So Agile talks about that. Okay, then there is one more concept. Agile doesn't speak about the environments management. When we say the environments management, we have seen that the number of servers, one of the example I said, okay, there are the number of servers, and when we are deploying the code, at least considering the smallest case, every application will have at least two servers. One is the main server, okay, what we call is a production server. Another one is a backup server, okay, or it can be also called a DR server, that is disaster recovery server. So at least two places they need to maintain the code, the same copy code, that one site fails or one server fails, then second one should pick it up without any interruption. So these problems Agile doesn't handle, and that's why this the term called DevOps comes to the picture. We talk about the development, we talk about the operations. We talk about the development, we talk about the operations, and now we are combining these two terms. That's a development and operations. So guys, here I would like to offer a small break. Shall I or not? Fine. I think those mostly, I'm assuming that most of the guys are on mobile. Okay, I'm just looking at my time. So we should be able to cover most of the part. So I won't drop for a break, and I will continue. So we talk about the development, we talk about the operations, and now let's talk about the combining them. And when we say the combining them, then the term called DevOps comes to the picture. That's development and operations. And what its definition says. The DevOps is the practice of operations and development engineer participating together in the entire service life cycle. When we say the entire service life cycle, it is starting from the building or planning the code, that how the designing, or what we call the designing, or low level design, high level design, to maintaining the code into the production system, to check the performance, how the code is going, and in case any issue comes in the production, then that team is responsible to fix those issues. So that is the expected from a DevOps team. From design through development process to the production support. So that is expected from a DevOps team. I would like to highlight one more point here. And they used to be even you might have heard, guys, that managers, in case you make a mistakes, you will get a bashing. That is the old mindset right now. Okay, it's okay to make a mistake, because mistake no one does it willingly. It's okay to make a mistake. Okay, the only thing is that when you make a mistake while developing the code, or introducing the bug unknowingly. There is a I haven't in my 16 years career, I haven't seen a developer who is introducing a bug or defect into the system or into his code or her code willingly. Everyone does it unknowingly. Okay, they don't know, and that's why. So earlier used to be scenario that everyone used willing to expect you to be expert. Okay, because in case you are making a mistake today, okay, when you are doing a development, your code will be in a production after a year or so. Not sure whether one thing is very clear, you won't be mostly into this project. Okay, then your mistake someone has to correct it. There will be someone who will be responsible, held responsible for your mistake, and that guy will fix that mistake with the, I mean, he has to analyze and all the stuff, and then he'll fix it, because he don't know the background of it. So he has to spend a lot of time. So that used to be the old mindset, okay, where the mistakes were avoided. And then came into the picture when this agile started. We started about talking about a more collaboration, more close team. Okay, no silos. Silos, it means those teams were sitting separately. Okay, the testers are different, the developers are different, the business analysts who do the design are different. Okay, they used to put a blame game. So the what you call it, holding responsible for mistakes was that time, because the cost of the mistake was so high. But right now, when since the agile adoption started, the Scrum and the Kanban came. Kanban is one more methodology, one more framework in agile, uh, which helps with the development of the Scrum. So once that started, sorry guys, give me a second. My battery is down. Okay, fine now. So now in the new concept, it is saying it's okay to make a mistake. Since the agile came into the picture, it's okay to make a mistake. The only thing is that when it is okay to make a mistake, when you identify it early. So when you are doing a sprinting for 4 weeks or 2 weeks, okay, you should be able to identify most of the defects in your sprint itself, or even when you are doing the review, because your product owner is reviewing your delivery or code. So it is okay to make a mistake. When DevOps comes into the picture, DevOps talks majorly on the automation. So sorry, before going to that, just wanted to conclude that point. It's okay to make a mistake. So whenever you are working on your code, it's okay to make a mistake. You don't have to focus too much on your expert, what do you call it, perfection of the code. Yeah, you have to follow the indentation and all the stuff, okay, but you have to make it sure you're not focusing too much on the perfection of it. Okay, nowadays tools are compilers and everyone will find your error. You can run the test cases or something like that. You should be able to go through that. And one, just the experience thought, I'll say, remember guys, the repetitive work should be done by the computers or machines. Okay, we are a human beings and we are there to solve the problem. So rather than working on the repetitive works, try to focus on the improvement or the solving the any problems whatever you have. And DevOps promotes that culture. This is the DevOps movement. It is actually, I forgot from where I took this picture website, but this is how it shows. You know the evolution of the Homo sapiens, like we, right? We grown from the monkey, and slowly, in case this corona doesn't push us back, okay, we will be soon. We'll be working majorly with artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, VR, AR, all kind of robotics. Okay, everything is getting implemented in the industry, and that's the continuous operations stage every organizations want to be. They want to be at the stage where they have even the continuous integration delivery. Most of the companies are trying to achieve. Deployment is a little bit difficult, but some of the companies like the Microsoft and Google are able to achieve. Facebook is also able to achieve the continuous deployment. We will go in details what these terms means. And there is something called the continuous operations, where they are expecting that everything is fully automated. So In case things work out, some of the companies are up to at that level, but every organization or every team wants to be there. So you guys being a new in the industry, it's very important for you to understand this concept. We talk, so from the previous image, we talk about waterfall, we talk about agile. We'll be going in detail about CI, CD, CD again, and CO. Because CO we won't much because these are the part of the CI/CD, what do you call the continuous delivery and deployment. Okay, and then continuous operations. That is the expected. So lean, what we haven't talked about now, lean is the principle which came from the automobile industry, where not getting, I think Mitsubishi or something, one of the car company, they started identifying the waste, okay, and making the value streams, and then they started getting the best production, or what you call the value chain, okay, where the values are being delivered, not only about what you call the parts. Okay, so they started about the value chain. I won't go in a detail about lean principles. In case you are interested, you can ping me separately. We can talk about, because lean itself is the entire topic in himself. But there are the majorly 5 principles. If you can remember a few of them, that will help you in interviews. In case someone asks, that is a define a value. Okay, whatever the item, whatever the stuff you are doing, it should be valuable. You have to define the value. You can't do the repetitive work all the time. Map it to the value stream. Map it to the value stream is whatever you are doing. Your organization will have something called a value stream, where they have wanted to achieve this organizational or departmental goals. Okay, so whatever the value you are working or whatever the work you are doing, you should be able to map it to that value stream. Then create a flow. Create a flow, it means it should go in a continuous manner. It should not be waiting for someone. So you have in the car industry, you say you have built the tire first, or rather you have now your tires are ready. Okay, you have fitted into the what you call the chassis, if I'm not wrong. Okay, you are fit into the chassis, and then you are putting your body. Then you have to remove your tire, and then you will put it in put it on the body, the car body on the chassis. That is not going to work out. You have to make it sure you are putting this car body first, and then you will be fixing the tires. So that is the expected. Or it could be vice versa. Sorry for the wrong example in case it is. And then establish a pull. When say the establish a pull, your what do you call the item or whatever the deliverable you are working on it. Okay, there should be someone able to pull it. Okay, there should be demand of it. Someone should be waiting for it. So the moment you'll put it in the market, okay, it should be able to sell. It should not be lying there for years or months. Okay, so that kind of stuff. And then pursue perfection. Pursue perfection means nothing but just improve, 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 and improve as much as possible on that part. Now, so that's on a lean. I'll just take some of the questions. You're not fine. I hope I'm good and things are going. I'll just go to some of the questions. I'll get the transition. So it says, is there any break in it during webinar? I'm sorry, I just dropped it. I dropped the plan of having a break. How can we customize Docker image of Windows to run .NET code directly? My goodness. This itself required an hour of seminar or webinar. Sorry, won't be covering the Docker part or containerization part in this seminar. Okay, this is mainly on the foundation of the basic about the DevOps. So we won't be going into the code or demo kind of stuff. How does the Jenkins integrates the code developed by a different developer? This is trunk-based development. I'm sorry, I should have included the slide, but again, that is not included. But this is like a trunk-based, and it maintains the Jenkins maintains with this version control. Okay, it keeps the version of every check-in you are deploying into it. When we'll see about the continuous integration, we'll discuss about this question for sure. So now I'll just go back and move to our slide. So we discussed about the lean. Plain principles. Now, most important question: why you should learn DevOps? The Gartner, okay, one of the major firm who does a lot of analysis and research in the industries, okay, they are saying that it is expected to grow 6 times by the year 2020, 2022. And now I can tell you with a very much confidence it will increase at least 12 times in the coming years, because this corona had shown that we cannot be dependent on the manual work a lot. When we say we, it means the organizations. Now, okay, they cannot be dependent entirely on a manual work. They have to make it sure that the machines or the programs are automated and they are doing their tasks. So it will surely increase more. DevOps and cloud jobs are among the highest paying jobs in the coming years, according to Forbes. Forbes, almost every one of you knows. Okay, these are the highest paying jobs. And trust me, you have to put a DevOps, you should be able to explain some of the term and your interview will be clear, provided you have a strong foundation in Agile. Okay, that is because they'll teach you. They'll teach you what are the codes, how the codes are being used, tools, how the codes tools should be used, and all this stuff. Because every organization will have the different tools. But the important or core part of it, you should know the foundation, fundamentals, basics, the core of it, why of it, and how of it. Okay, then what of it they'll take care and they'll teach you. So these are the some of the organizations which are currently fully on a DevOps. Not every product or there will be on a DevOps, okay, but majority of it. So I forgot to put up Facebook here. Facebook is entirely on a DevOps. The Nokia, Disney, Netflix. There is this nice example I missed to add here is Spotify. If you guys are interested to know and learn that how this entire agile movement helps an organization, you should go and check the Spotify case study. So just go through it, find out, just write in Google Spotify case study, and you should be able to get the entire case study, and it will tell you that how the agile, the pods, and all the stuff help that small company who used to rent some music at the local level, and now it's the global music particular player in the industry now. It's the biggest one right now on the music industry. So that will help. Spotify, the name I repeat. Okay. Moving on to the next one, DevOps principles. What does DevOps says? Guys, now this is very crucial. In case you are trying to put a DevOps anywhere, so people will surely ask, what are the principles behind DevOps? So, principles behind DevOps is mainly the customer-centric action. Whatever you are doing, it should be the customer-centric. The customer, how the customer will react to that particular product or particular application or program. Ultimately, the end user should be in mind. It doesn't matter whether you are writing the code of 10,000 line of code and it's not user friendly and no use. Okay, but if you can make a call, an API call, okay, and give the customer what he wants, I think that should be more than enough. So the thing should be the customer centric, what customer wants. Second principle says create with the end in mind. You should have the you don't need to plan everything in advance, okay, but you should know the vision, okay, your goal, what the product you want to build, the type, at least the skeleton of it, okay, what you want to build, that you should have in mind. So when you are so that you should have in mind, okay, when you are designing the car, okay, you should know that the car will have at least 4 wheels, okay, or 6 wheels, choice is yours, or flying car, okay, but you don't need to plan the color of it or the, what you call, the engine of it or something, that you can do it later, but at least you should have that vision what the end product will be look like or what it should be, okay. So that's create with the end in mind. End-to-end responsibility, as we said that earlier, the development and operations were entirely two different teams, and as a part of DevOps they are the one team, okay, the end to end, they take care of the planning, to design, to build, to code, test, deploy, and release and maintain. So that is the end-to-end responsibility here. Here there is a no blame game, or there is a no runaway saying that the boss, I have done my job, I have tested my code, I don't care whether it is failing in the UAT or something. So that is not allowed. And to achieve that, end-to-end responsibility within a small teams, there is a concept of a cross-functional autonomous team. When we say the cross-functional autonomous team, I would like to highlight this, cross-functional. It means you might have heard something that master of all trades, sorry, master of jack of all trades, master of a none. Now in a cross-functional autonomous teams, it says master of a one and jack of all trades. Sorry, jack of all trades and master of a one. So you should have one skill, okay, where you are master. Say let it be the UI development, let it be the backend development. You are a full stack developer, that is very well and good. And let it be Java or .NET, you should be master of one. Okay, but along with that, you should know all other some of the more tools or more technologies. Like you should be able to test it. You should be able to write the test cases in JUnit in case you are a Java developer. Okay, or you should know the how to fetch or create test cases in Selenium, that is a test automation tool. Or you should know that how you will deploy the code. Okay, using the Jenkins, or you should know. I mean, that some of the examples I'm going. You should know that how the configuration management is done through Chef and Puppet. So these are the stuff you should know. Not everything you should know. Okay, but one thing you should be master, but you should know other things as well. Just going in the any company and stating, boss, I'm a UI champion and I don't care what Agile is all about or how the way of working works. They'll kick you out, and trust me, they'll kick you out. Doesn't matter how champion you might be. So there is a no value for a super specialization right now in the industry, but there is a value of a specialization plus add-ons, what we call of it. So that's about the cross-functional autonomous teams. Continuous improvement, yeah, that's the heart of it, heart of a DevOps. It's a continuous improvement. You have to keep improving. Whatever the stuff you are writing, you have to keep improving. Whatever the process or models you are working, you have to keep improving, and that's true for the human life as well. In case you want to grow in your career, you have to keep improving. There's no alternative to that. Then automate everything you can. That's one of the part which it differs in from a agile. Automate everything you can. Okay, let it be the test cases, let it be your anything code and deployment. And I'll give the short example. As I work for the banks, I had delivered for the many banks. I mean, almost like 10 to 11 banks I worked. Okay, and banks for the manual test cases, the bank users, they wanted to test, they always want to test what are the changes they requested by themselves. But in a bank, when you change something, okay, you are changing almost a huge part of it, and then you have to run through so many test cases, because one single mistake in a bank or in any of the famous or major big product, okay, 1 hour of a downtime and you are screwed up. Your share market value goes down. Okay, you lose money like anything, or there you get negative publicity. That's a different part of it, but that impacts a lot. So when we work for the banks, normally what we do, we create a regression test suite, what we call. So for every changes we make, for every module, say we are working on the loans module where we borrow the money from a bank. Okay, that's a loans module, and we are making some changes in the loans module. So, and there is a, when we assess the loans module, okay, but of course there comes the account and there comes the customer. So unless until we have a customer, we don't have an account, and we don't have an account, it means we can't have the loan to be disbursed. So those two modules are not touched at all. So how, but we need to test that, because it should not impact the overall flow. That's what we call the regression test. So regression test suite packs are being made. Okay, the test cases are written entirely in automation. Okay, because these are the standard cases where the functionality is not changing. So the builder or the developer, okay, the guy who builds the code, he'll run that automation. That will run for an hour, or depends on the kind of the time duration when that guy is leaving from office, he'll just put a run. In the morning he'll come, he'll see, okay boss, my some of the test cases are failed, I need to work on it. Okay, these are the things are failed and I need to work on it. He'll fix it and he'll just run it again. So that's on the testing automation. So that kind of the automation is already in place. Then there is something called, and then we will go through it. Okay, when we'll go through the tools overview, that what are the tools and we are using it. Okay, let me see if some people are there or I am the only one who's speaking. Okay, there are the guys. Fine. So these are the DevOps principles. I'll suggest you go to the website called DevOps agileskills.org, and then there's a DASA DevOps principle, and just memorize it in case you are planning to put it on your resume or you are planning to discuss with anything about Agile. And now just moving on to the DevOps life cycle. So as we said, DevOps is all about moving the things faster and together as a one team. So this is the overall DevOps life cycle, and it says develop, test, provision, configure, deploy, monitor, feedback. Feedback is nothing but the your what you call it, continuously you are trying to get it that how your code is working, or is there any issues, or how it is performing, how you can make it better. Okay, the customer feedback. So that is all about a continuous feedback. So in DevOps, it is all about continuous. Okay, DevOps talks about all about continuous. Okay, the continuous delivery, the continuous provisioning, then deployment, continuous deployment, continuous testing, continuous monitoring. So that the expectation is that your operations should be on a continuous mode. It should not get halted because of some of the challenge or something. So DevOps is all about the continuous. And then one of the things I just remember, even there's a famous saying from Winston Churchill. Okay, you guys might be aware Winston Churchill. Okay, he was the Prime Minister of India. I think first one, right? If I'm not wrong, or it might be wrong as well. But he was a President of India, not Prime Minister. Sorry, I'm screwing up. President of US. Okay, United States. So he said once, continuous effort, not a strength or intelligence, is the key to unlocking our potential. So even it applies in a human life, that continuous effort, we need to keep putting the efforts all the time, and then only will achieve the success. It is not about strength or intelligence. So many times I've seen the intelligent and what you call the strong people fail, but the effort, those who put the effort, they never fail, and I'm sure almost will agree on it. So on that part, the major components in the DevOps is continuous integration, continuous configuration management, continuous delivery, and continuous deployment. And in all the phases, there is an underlying process which will be running all the time is continuous monitoring. We'll go to each process separately. I wanted to give a break, so that's guys. I mean, sorry about that. So I wanted to give a break here, which I'm not going to have it now. Okay, and then let's move on. We have seen that the sixth principle says build automation. Now I could see there are some questions on Jenkins. As I said, sorry guys, I'm not talking about containerization and Docker and all in this seminar, in this webinar. So sorry for not taking the second question, but we'll try to answer the third question when we are going through it. Okay, that how the Jenkins integrates the code developed by different developer. So we will try to touch on it. We have seen that DevOps sixth principle says automate everything you can. Okay, I said everything you can. It doesn't mean that you should take the manual effort. As I said, the DevOps and Agile and almost everyone in the most of the guys, you should believe that we are there, human are there to solve the problems and not to do the repetitive task. It doesn't make a sense. For any kind of repetitive task, there should be the automation in place. One of the tasks which you guys might be doing on a regular basis is build compilation of the sources. Okay, you might be compiling the sources or something, I don't know right now, but at the time when we used to learn the programming and all, we have to compile the sources every time. Okay, we have to make it sure that every code we are writing, the new file we are writing, we are linking those files. The header library is what we call in a C, hash include, and then we used to include that file. So we have to keep doing that. But right now, there are the tools in the market available. Okay, and DevOps promotes those tools that you can do everything by automation by default. Okay, when you are checking your source code, okay, that we'll see as a part of the continuous integration. But expectation is that whenever you want to run the compilation, okay, it should take care of all the stuff by itself. You don't have to do the anything manual. And then there are these two tools are there, Apache Maven and Apache Ant. Okay, these are the two tools are one of the most favored in the industry. Yeah, apart from that, sometimes I'm not surprised. Many times the Jenkins also plays a role into the what do you call compiling the sources and all. But many times there are the internal tools which the companies build, which takes care as part of this linking and integration and making the compiling the source into the binary files as dot class files. It depends on the technology you're working on it. Okay, so that case, and the creating the package and deploying on the servers. So Jenkins also works on that part. Okay, but we here just wanted to keep Jenkins a little bit separate as a CI tool. uh, we'll just Apache Maven and Apache Ant. I can say Ant is nothing but though the symbol is Ant. Okay, it was created as a in what another neat tool from Apache. That was I think was released in 2000, year 2000 first time, and Apache Maven came in 2004. So Apache Maven is a much practiced nowadays. It is quite more friendly as compared to the Apache Ant, and that's why many people use Apache Maven for their own of building the automation. Now this is the very critical or crucial part of it. When we talk about DevOps, we always talk about the CD/CI pipeline, or rather, I should say CI/CD pipeline. That CI is a continuous integration, and CD we'll see into the next sections after a while. So, in a continuous integration, what we do, we build a code. The developer is working on a code. In Waterfall, what we do, developer is working in a code. He'll deploy the code into the SCM, that is source code management tool. That SCM will test some of the code quality stuff. Okay, whether your indentation is proper, whether your sufficient comments are there in your code, whatever you are deploying. Okay, that kind of stuff the SCM code does do test it. Okay, that's it. And then separately you have to run your compilation. You have to build your source. Okay, you will build your library files, dot class or binary files, and then you will link those files to the packages. Okay, and those packages you will use it for the testing. So, and then you have to get that, you have to do the manual testing, and then your testing will do, or your some other tester will do your testing. So that used to be the trend, at least a long time back, and even now for many of the teams that trend still exists. Okay, but now it is, at least on the CI part, it is getting things are improving a lot. So even though bank is not completely on a DevOps, or companies, organizations are not completely on a DevOps, okay, still they are using the CI part of it. That is continuous integration. What we do as a part of the CI, or what these tools, Jenkins or Bamboo does, someone may ask the question, right? How does the Jenkins integrates the code developed by a different developer? So it uses the SVN, that is source version controlling, source version numbering, okay, kind of stuff. It can be any tool. Okay, it takes the sources. Okay, the developer, what I'll say, checks out the code. Okay, he does any changes, and he creates that what you call the branch. In the branch, he makes the changes, and he once his changes are done, by the end of the day, he's expected that is expected that every day you should check in your code or branch code into the trunk. Trunk is your main code repository, okay, where your testing is going on. It should not necessarily be a production what you call the code, but it is something which your team or your project team is working on it. So that is a trunk. So from a trunk we create a branches as a developer and we do our work, and then branches we deploy back into the trunk at the end of the day. When we do at the end of the day, or say today I want to leave at 4 o'clock, so I finish my code, I want to leave early, I deployed it at 4 o'clock. Before going, I just deployed my code into the trunk or in a system, and it got merged with the trunk. So the moment it got merged with the trunk, the push mechanism of the Jenkins comes into the picture, or continuous integration. The push mechanism of the continuous integration comes into the picture, and it starts building the code. It creates your binary automatically. It creates your binary. Okay, it runs the regression test, that automated testing which we discussed earlier. It runs all the test cases and all. And in case any issues are found out and all, because your tools configured in such a way that if you are putting your codes, your project team will get the notification in case of any issues and all. And in case of success also, you will get that the green signal, and it will say the code build is proper. The testing has been passed. So, and you will get a notified. So you will get, and the next day you are coming to the office and you are saying, okay boss, I have the 3 issues to be worked on my code, and now I have to fix those, and then I have to excuse me, I run the automated CI request again, or run the automated build and test again. If everything is fine, then the code will automatically deploy into the trunk. So unless and until your code is clear up to the expectation, your code won't be merged into the trunk, so that the other developers are not impacted, or other team members are not impacted because of your defect code. I mean, whatever the defect you have in code. And then there is something called a pull mechanism in the Jenkins, and also I mean, someone had deployed the sources. Say today I deployed the sources. Okay, tomorrow 4 o'clock I deployed the sources. Some guy is working till 6 o'clock. He deployed the sources, and 7 o'clock another person deployed the sources. So 3 push mechanism are already triggered. That says the build, test, and notify. All 3 of us, our code is fine. There is no issues. Then there works the pull mechanism. And what this pull mechanism does at a particular time, in a daytime, weekly, monthly, or whatever it is, okay, the entire code is built, again converted into the binary, compiled and all the stuff, whatever we do. Then it is the regression or automated test packs are run on that code, and then in case of entire package I'm talking about right now, and in case of there are any issues and all, it is being notified, or otherwise it will be the upgraded with the version and deployed into the trunk. So that is on the continuation integration part. So build, test, and notify. Okay, so these 3 terms you should know when we talk about a continuous integration. These 3 things works in a parallel, and that is the expected as well. So, and as I said, the Jenkins and Bamboo are the most favored tool in the industry currently for the CI part of it. Moving on to the next one is the configuration management. Now, when we talk about the configuration management, one topic I would like to bring, which I said about the servers. Now, how we work in a bank, that could be the good example. Now, you might be knowing, I mean, you know very well, right? Every bank will have the different branches. Okay, banks like ICICI, SBI will have the thousands of the branches, rather more than that. And then so thousands of branches they have, or the ATMs, hundreds of the thousands of the ATMs. So, and when we are deploying the code, when we work on, say we have a requirement to change one of the fields, say customer name, then now we want to add the suffix, that what you call the Mr. or Mrs. or something like that. We want to add the suffix to the, that's a central bank requirement is coming and bank is saying, we have to make sure that we need to add a suffix, that Mr. or Mrs. or Miss, to every customer who is coming to our bank. In that scenario, we do the build, we do the deployment and all the fine. Do you think that is it okay to deploy that code or that changes to all the branches? Trust me, a small bug, okay, will put the banks on its knees immediately. Okay, by mistake, if someone is trying to put a Mr. Okay, and Miss is appearing, or say Mr. is not appearing, and Mr. Sachin Tiwari rather than Mr. Sachin Tiwari, if I'm saying my name is coming as Miss Sachin Tiwari, I mean I'll go crazy, right? And just say, imagine then in all over the India, how many people open the bank accounts at a time, and how it will look like. So the small bug can kill the reputation of the bank at once. So earlier what we used to do, we used to test it thoroughly, okay, and then again we used to deploy it stage manner. So first 5 branches, okay, 5 branches are fine. But then again 5 branches, then 5 branches are fine, then 5 branches. So this was the manual configuration. For every server we have to deploy the sources separately. So that is the scenario. But right now, with the configuration, automated configuration management in place, okay, where we can deploy the configuration itself onto the all servers at once, or on the click of the button, what we call. On the click of the button, or every node it will go and it will deploy this configuration, automated configuration. So Shape and Puppet are the ones. So what we do right now, we do test these kind of changes in one branch. Okay, we deploy our that what we, and as we said, we create in Shape and Puppet. In case you go in detail in the training, we create nodes and all. So in the node, we create a different nodes for every bank or every branch, not bank, but every branch. Okay, sometimes there will be set of the branch and we create a one node. It depends on the size of the customer, size of the bank it is, and number of the customers are coming into it. So we deploy the sources on one node or one branch. Okay, we check it, we test it. Okay, for 4 or 5 days, we'll keep it as it is. Okay, we'll let the users test it, and okay, fine. After 5 days, okay, now we are very well and fine. We haven't faced any issue. Whatever the issues are there, we fix it. Again, we test it for a while and fine. Now all of a sudden, and then we'll release it to the 100 branches because it's on one click. We'll release it to the 100 branches. Okay, fine. Again, that let that testing happen for a couple of days or something. Now we have tested for the 100 branches. Now we are very well to push our changes to the 1000 branches. And then on the on click of one button in the Shape and Puppet using this configuration, automated configuration management, we can deploy the source code into thousands of the branches. And that's fine. I mean, that kind of the configuration. Configuration management gives that kind of the comfort to the team or to the bank or to the any software team or developer they are working on it. Earlier, the implementation itself used to take years because 5 branch now, then 5 branch 3 months out, two after 2 weeks, then 5 branch 2 after 2 weeks. That used to be like, thank God those days are past, and now we'll just move on to this continuous integration and continuous deployment. As I say, the CI, CD are the parts. Now CI part we have discussed. Now we'll move to the CD and CD again. Continuous delivery and continuous deployment. There is a slight difference between these two. This slide I copied from Google, which clearly shows that there is a difference, and I'll come to that point to give with a solid example. What does we do in a continuous delivery is we will deliver the code, okay, to the user level. Okay, user level, it means the bank user who will be testing. We directly don't send it to the end user, like the customers of the bank, directly the guys who are withdrawing the money or something, we don't send it to them. Okay, same thing with the Facebook and all, they'll release the beta version. Okay, so that some of the times they'll release the beta, or even the Windows, Microsoft, they'll release the beta kind of stuff. So that is for the limited set of the people earlier. Okay, and how they'll do the, and that kind of a concept is called a continuous delivery, where your acceptance test is done and everything, and when you have to deploy your entire source code into the production, okay, or for the 1000 branches, that has to be done through manual stuff. Okay, tool won't decide it. Tool won't decide that when to deploy. I mean, sorry, I was. It is not a manual state, but it is the decision making will be done by the what you call users, or not users, but the program sponsors and the responsible person from the project. They'll decide when to deploy the code into the production. So that is continuous delivery. So I have built 100 functionalities. Okay, I have built an app. Okay, I built an app. So started with say Google. We'll take the example of Google. I built a Google suite, G Suite. Okay, I have integrated the Google Meets into it, which earlier used to be Hangout, then Google Photos, and then Google Business, and all and all. So for everything, till the time one application is getting built, say Google Photos has been built, everything is automated. Okay, till the user acceptance testing. I'm not deploying into the production, because as a bank, as a person, or as the owner of the Microsoft, or as a program manager of that project, I want to deliver the entire project as one product. So what I'll do, I'll keep on hold. So that is called a continuous delivery, because it involves a lesser risk, and your system should be that much strong. And then the difference, then comes the continuous deployment, where you don't have any manual intervention. Your pipeline, the CI/CD pipeline is built in such a way that, okay, one click of one button, your code is deployed into the production. Microsoft deploys almost, sorry, right now I don't know the exact figure, but by 2016, in 2016, Microsoft used to deploy minimum 40, used to do a minimum 40 deployments per day. And I said a minimum 40 deployments, it means sometime the one developer, and it could be, I mean, every developer used to deploy the source code into the production on a click of button. And thanks to, again, this, the tools what we have. Okay, automation, sorry, configuration management is done, automated, the automated build is taken care of, the test cases used to run. Okay, everything is done, and then source code is to deploy into the production. So that is the continuous deployment. So slight difference is that in a continuous delivery, there is a manual intervention between your user acceptance testing and production deployment. In continuous deployment, there is no manual intervention. Okay, once your acceptance testing are done, the source code goes to the production directly. Okay, so and then as I said, I will move on to the continuous monitoring. Sorry guys, I'm just rushing a little bit, but should be able to finish by 17:15, that is 5:15, should be able to finish it off. So continuous monitoring, as I said, it's the under layer which runs with your all the processes which are running. Okay, because you have to keep monitoring. If you see, there is one button called notify as a part of continuous integration. So that says notify is nothing but monitoring. Okay, the stuff should be working fine. The thing should go fine. Okay, so continuous monitoring we have to do. We have to check for the issues, check for the performance issues and all. And Nagios and Splunk are the tools which are widely used for the continuous monitoring. This is the kind of a heart of it, because unless and until you monitor your system, you won't be able to find it. Now going to the last continuous part of it, that is the continuous feedback. So guys, if you remember the pillars of Agile, the three pillars of Agile, it says inspection, adaptation, and improvement. That is inspect what you're doing. Okay, adapt to the changes, whatever is happening, and improve on it. So that is the three pillars of Agile. And continuous feedback of the DevOps is works on those three pillars, that continuously improve, get continuous feedback. How you'll get the continuous feedback? Through continuous monitoring. Okay, when you are doing the continuous monitoring, you will get the continuous feedback, how your systems are performing, so which servers are going down. Okay, then there is some term called the patching. Okay, which servers needs the patching. Okay, where the alert is coming. So there are the huge, so many things. As I said, the DevOps is a huge topic. Okay, I'm trying to cover only something which can say set the tone for you to take some more steps to understand a little bit, okay, but not to go into the deep, at least at this stage of career right now. So how we'll achieve the continuous feedback and continuous improvement? Continuous improvement can be achieved only through continuous feedback. And how we'll achieve through continuous feedback? We can achieve continuous feedback through continuous improvement. Sorry, continuous monitoring. And then again, how will we get the continuous monitoring? Through continuous integration. So everything is interconnected. Everything is interconnected, and that's how the DevOps is interconnected. That's how the things goes on. We covered some of the tools when we gone through some of the items that I know for continuous delivery and deployment we haven't put any tool because there's no tool is required. So there are the other widely used tools, mainly in most of the bigger companies, I should say. For collaboration, we use the YouTube is also the collaboration tool where we are having this webinar now, but we don't use it in the companies majorly. So we have something called Microsoft Teams, SharePoint, Skype, WebEx, Confluence. Okay, these we use for the collaboration. That is collaboration between the team members or the different project teams or different departments as well. So where we store the documents or where we store the test cases or results, emails or anything, discussion points or requirement. So these are the collaboration tools which we use. Then there is a tool called a Rally and Jira where we normally capture the requirements, user stories. We capture the user stories in Rally and Jira in case you know about the Scrum framework. And coming back to Scrum framework, guys, I'll suggest to go through this certification if possible. Still, if you need some help and all, I'll suggest you drop a note to this channel. We will get some workshop arranged for you guys to clear that certification. We'll get arranged workshop as well as the exam to be cleared somehow. Then moving on to the next two set of tools is a version control. So that the question was there that how Jenkins manages that different developers tools, the version controlling. So here the version control comes to the picture. That's how the Jenkins make it sure that the codes are merged and not overwritten. Okay, there's a difference between the overwritten and merged. You know very well. So the codes are merged between the two and not overwritten. That the previous code has been overwritten by the current code. That doesn't happen. So for that we have the SVN, Get and Bitbucket. The source version control tools are being used most of the places. Though they are, some of them are the open source, but they are the premium ones as well. And most of the companies provide the maximum features to the premium versions, which this companies buys and work on it. And there is something called the code quality, that is the Sonar Cube. So it will tell you that whether your indentation is proper, whether you have captured the errors properly, this kind of stuff. The Sonar Cube takes care. Code quality checks it does. Cloud. Intentionally, I just left this topic, which is the one of the major component of the DevOps. But in case we go into the cloud, we know we go into cloud, and it would have taken a lot of time. But DevOps with the cloud is a very good option, and most of the companies are following. Right now, they are more trying to move to the cloud, and slowly they'll move to the DevOps as well. Not slowly, but they are moving very fast into DevOps. So these are the tools which you can go through it. That will help you. We discussed some of the tools. So coming on to the point, is it possible to be a champion for all the tools? Think again. This is only one of the picture I browsed from Google, which I know that many of the tools I know. Okay, I just put it. These many tools are there currently in the industry. Not the industry. These are the just set of tools. And there is some more. It's very difficult to read itself. But let it be. I just wanted to show the number of tools. So for every task, there are many companies, many startups, they are building the tools and all. So if you ask me, is it possible to know all the tools? Surely not. But what can be done to get expertise? We will come to that point. Before that, I'll just briefly run through in the next 2 minutes benefits of the DevOps. That how the DevOps benefits. Okay, won't run into it, to be very honest. We have gone through most of the points, and right now it's okay. We'll have the faster updates, better user experience, fewer failures. As we said, fail early. Okay, DevOps says the fail early. So capture error early so that the cost of the error is very less. That is a return on investment. So many terms goes behind of it. The cost saving, faster product delivery. So these many things, and these are the benefits of the DevOps. You can find out so many stuff on the internet. That's why I'm not going through it. In case you are interested, you can find so many benefits. Moving on to the next one. What's next? Now, as I said, my seminar was intended mainly through the students. That's what I understood. Though we have very less attendance, I don't know the reason behind it. Another one is there are some faculties who are a part of the webinars. So my what's next was the point I just wanted to share with you guys, that how with my experience in the industry for so many years, I've been working in Agile and DevOps for last almost like 8 or 9 years now. What I'll suggest, you can't master all the tools, that's for sure. But what you can do, as we said, discussed and we have seen, the DevOps stands on the Agile principles and values. Okay, Agile way of working, mainly on the Scrum way of working. So what you can do, you can get yourself certified or expertise in Agile, mainly in Scrum, in case you want willing to. And this advice will be for those guys who are looking job in the IT industry or those who are working now. Okay, but facing some challenges to move into to add these job terms on their resume. So for them also, this is my suggestion. Get expertise in Agile, mainly Scrum. Focus on one or two technologies. Don't go for all. Don't try to be master of all trades. Just make it sure you are a master, jack of all trades, master of one. So if you are comfortable with a database, try to learn only database. Be master of it. Okay, but you should know the UI concept on it. When you want to learn the UI concept, just try to learn the UI concept. Making yourself full stack developer, is it feasible? It is feasible. But just you want to do the full stack development as well as you want to learn the entire cybersecurity, not going to work out for you. Strictly no, don't play with your career. Don't try to run everywhere. Okay, if you love to work on a cloud, fine, but cloud is just platform. You need to have a technology on it. So you need to have the UI technologies or web development or Java or .NET, or at least one or two technologies you need to be very strong in it. Okay, and you should know other technologies as well, that you should be able to speak at least on those technologies. Learn 2-3 tools from a DevOps. Whatever the tools we discuss, at least learn 2-3 tools on it. My suggestion will be, try to learn Jenkins. Okay, try to learn Jenkins. It is a very easy open source tool. Okay, you will find hundreds of the examples outside. It's pretty easy tool. So you go to the jenkins.io and then you can start learning by yourself. You don't need any company or any server or any setup to create your own pipeline and test it. That you can do the Hello World program and all. I'll try to arrange a seminar maybe next time to have a demo on the Jenkins at least, so that we'll understand that how the code flows from one place to another, or from get merged between the two things, or get rejected in case of any errors and all. But we'll leave it for the next time. Get basic understanding of the cloud. That is very important, guys. Okay, because now the cloud is booming. Everyone wants to move to cloud, and so you should know cloud fundamentals. Can arrange the webinar on the clouds as well. It is my one of the favorite topic and love about it. So we can discuss on that. But try to get a basic. You can find it on a AWS website as well, and Google also provides the free courses. So you can go through it. You can just check it out to get basic understanding how the cloud as a platform works. Try continuously for improvement. This looks something very philosophical. Philosophical. That's okay. But it's try continuously for improvement. That only I can say. I just don't want to spend time on it. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay away from corona. That is one of the most important topic, most important thing I want to highlight. In case you want to understand more or want to know a little bit more about this, you can drop me a mail at sach.tiwari@gmail.com. I go on Instagram with the name as Advejra. Okay, that is my wife's YouTube account, YouTube channel right now, which where I'm streaming from. And one of the most important thing, if you guys haven't done till now, request you to subscribe this channel. That is how I got the access to this channel. Please subscribe it. Okay, I'll be sharing some more what you call the bites on various topics, various latest topic, the industry ongoing, maybe some of the openings what we have, or some of the technology trend what we have. So I'll be sharing on that part. Hold on. Hello. Hello. I'll call you in a minute. Sorry guys, that was so bad of it. Fine. So you can write it down. Please subscribe to this channel. Now I'll just move to the last section of the webinar, and we'll wait for your questions. We'll wait for say 10-15 minutes more to get your questions. What skills are the most important to be a DevOps expert? Okay, fine. So I read this question a little bit late, but I think I answered it in advance, that how you can be a DevOps expert. You can't learn all the tools. Learn 2 or 3 tools. Okay, don't try to be a master of all trades. I keep saying, I keep repeating. Okay, it is impossible in an industry, especially the time when you guys are coming into the industry. The stuff is changing rapidly. The stuff, the items, the tools, everything is changing rapidly. So don't spend too much time. Try to understand the basic, as I said, the agile principles, the core principles. Okay, how the stuff works, how the CI, CD, what does it matter? Okay, this kind of stuff will help you to make a DevOps expert. And I'm myself is a DevOps expert, so you can count on me when I'm saying. I'll give it 3 more minutes and then we'll say bye to the webinar. Okay, so sorry, I just missed. So there are no more questions. Now 4 minutes time to come on a screen. So I think I'm seeing that some of the people are moving on. Okay, fine. We have one more question. No, I think that was the last one. So we have only 4 questions. That is not a good sign, guys. I expect more questions on this topic. This is very important and critical, crucial. So before now, I would like to see that whether you guys can answer my some of questions. I know it should have been done. We'll see the some of the questions. I'm just going live, and can you try to answer it now? What is DevOps? What is DevOps? We have only one answer, guys. Can we see your response on a Slido if possible? If no, no worries. That's okay. I could see only one response. That's fine. No worries about it. I just don't want to push anything, and that's the bad part of the going online. Okay, I can't see you face to face. You can't see me face to face. And that's why that connect, the connect which should be there, okay, that connect gets missing. So that's what I'm saying. So that connect where I can see you face to face, and but fine, guys. I mean, this is the new way of working. Okay, you can't run away from it. That is how you, me, and everyone will go on. We don't have any option. Now, just moving on to the next one. Fine, guys. I think that brings almost to the closure of the webinar. One last request I have, if you could get me the little bit of feedback on the webinar, that how you felt about it, whether you liked it or not. The last question. I won't ask anything more than that. So if you go to Slido and just put it your reviews, that will be helpful. And we will close, we'll stop streaming in the next 5 minutes. But if you guys can go to the poll, share your views, that will help me a lot to improve. That's fine. Okay, that's bring to the end of the session, and thank you so much, guys. It was pleasure talking to every one of you. Thank you so much again. It was very much pleasure to talking to every one of you. I mean, sorry, not talking, but yeah, it could be this one. I'll be happy to see your comments on my this webinar, how it works out for the next one. In case you want to learn more, I'll be very much happy to provide some more sessions or something. But otherwise, if you can tell me how I can improve myself, I'll be more than happy on that part as well. So thank you so much.